It all happened with one word: condition. Aro pronounced it like someone caressing a valuable piece before claiming it. They were in the great marble hall, under the watchful gaze of the Volturi guard. Bella, still human, trembled beside Edward. Carlyle and Alice stood nearby, tense, and the Volturi leader never took his eyes off her. "You may leave," said Aro. "Edward, Bella, the whole Cullen family." Pause, a smile. "Except Alice," a second of silence that felt like an eternity. "What are you saying?" Edward growled. "My dear Edward, you know how I value gifts, and Alice's is unique. Visions of the future, untethered by space or thought. She's a jewel, a privilege not to be wasted." Carlyle stepped forward. "Aro, please. She's part of our family. You can't separate us." Aro tilted his head. "Wasn't I the one who offered mercy? Haven't I been reasonable? What I ask is a simple guarantee, and Alice can help us maintain balance." Edward lunged, but Felix intercepted him. Jane raised a hand. Bella screamed, and Alice, in the midst of the tension, spoke calmly. "It's okay. I'll stay." "Alice, no!" Jasper shouted, just arriving with Dimitri behind. His voice was broken. She looked at him one last time. "I have to. There's no other way." That's how fate was sealed. The Cullens returned to Forks, without Alice, and Volterra gained its new seer. The first days were cold as ice. Alice didn't speak, didn't cooperate, ignored Jane, didn't answer Aro, until she saw something. An image of Jasper, alone in the forest, devastated, on the verge of leaving the family to find her. Then she began to cooperate, because she realized that to protect Jasper, she had to stay alive and useful. Aro was fascinated. Every day he asked her to project different things. When will the Southern clan attack? Can we trust the Romanian coven? Will Carlyle come for you? Alice learned to pretend, to lie with fragments of truth, to show selective visions, to hide what truly mattered. When she wasn't with Aro, she was locked in a windowless room. Renata guarded her door. Jane monitored her emotions. But Alice thought only of Jasper, and now and then she saw him. In the woods, in Forks, in the cabin, sitting, hands empty, waiting. Meanwhile, in the north, the Cullens began to plan. They couldn't storm Volterra by force. Dimitri would track them. Jane would kill them before they got close. They needed allies, which meant one thing: breaking the rules. Carlyle traveled secretly to Denali. Tanya and Eleazar received them with caution. "Do you know what you're asking?" Tanya said. "Going against the Volturi isn't a crusade, it's suicide." "I don't want war," said Carlyle. "I just want my daughter back." It was Eleazar who agreed to help. If Alice is being held against her will, it violates everything they claim to defend. We can gather others, but we'll need proof. Meanwhile, Alice played her own chess. She found hidden passages, studied guard shifts, memorized escape routes, and most of all, planted seeds of doubt. She spoke softly with Chelsea, asked questions to Renata, listened to the new trainees, and every night in her mind she repeated one thought: "Jasper, hold on, I'm coming." One night, Aro brought her to a private chamber. "You have an extraordinary gift, but lately your visions have been blurry." Alice smiled, fearless. "Maybe there are too many possibilities. Or maybe you're hiding something." Alice met his gaze. "What if I'm seeing something you don't want to accept?" "Like what?" "That your time is running out." Aro didn't answer. He just smiled. But from that night, Alice was watched more closely. And then she saw it. A vision. Clear, sharp, imminent. A secret meeting. In the tundra. Carlyle, Eleazar, Zafrina, Benjamin. An old name not spoken in centuries, Peter. And in the center of them all, standing with eyes shining, Jasper. With a map. And a phrase: "We're bringing her back." Alice dropped to her knees. And for the first time in months, she cried. Not blood. Not despair. Hope. But Aro saw it too, because Alice, moved by emotion, dropped her shield for a fraction, just one, and Aro understood everything. He knew the battle was beginning, but what he didn't know was that Alice was no longer just his seer. She was the spark that would ignite the rebellion. And this time, the Volturi wouldn't face a family, but an army. Volterra wasn't ready. For centuries, the Volturi had lived in the certainty of their power, but power, when unchallenged, rusts into arrogance. And Alice had waited for the exact moment. The plan began with a distraction. A small group, led by Zafrina and Benjamin, appeared in northern Italy. They created a colossal illusion, a supernatural storm covering the ancient city, clouding all vision, all trace. Dimitri couldn't track, Alec couldn't perceive, Jane couldn't attack, Aro couldn't see. Darkness was total. and into that shadowed void, the Cullens entered. Jasper led the rescue team, not for strength, not for leadership, but because his heart led him. Alice had seen it. She had projected it in her mind again and again. The moment she would see him again, the touch of his hand, his voice trembling just a second before the action. Renata was the first barrier. Jasper distracted her. Peter immobilized her. Garrett took care of the rest. And Alice, from her chamber, felt the tremor. The exact vibration she had predicted, the exact hour. She broke the latch, neutralized her guard with a clean blow, took the black cloak, and walked out to meet them. Free. At last. But not everything went as planned. Aro appeared, alone, elegant, watching the rebels with a mix of disappointment and admiration. "Do you think you'll destroy us with a group of newborns and scattered allies?" Carlyle stepped forward. "We haven't come to destroy, only to reclaim what is ours." Aro looked at Alice. "Is that what you want, my dear? To leave as if all these years meant nothing?" Alice lifted her gaze. "Steady. They meant every minute of resistance." Aro sighed. "We could have been eternal." "You don't understand eternity," Jasper said, stepping beside her, "because you never shared it with love. There was tension. The Volturi could have fought, could have destroyed. But they didn't, because Aro saw beyond, in Alice's eyes, in the Cullens' silence, in the hidden allies, in the spark, and for the first time, he saw his end, and he didn't like it. So he lowered his head. "Leave, then, all of you, but know this balance won't last." Carlyle nodded. Balance was never eternal, only choice was. When Jasper and Alice walked out together, the air filled with something that hadn't been in Volterra for centuries. Hope. Back in Forks, there were no celebrations, only hugs, tears, and silence, because the Cullens knew the war could still come. But now, they were together. Alice returned to her room, to her books, to her dresses, to Jasper's arms, and though time couldn't rewind, she could see the future again, at last clear, at last free. And this time, she wouldn't use it for Aro, or for war, but for the only thing that truly mattered, to protect her own, with vision, with love, and with a promise on her lips. "They will never take me again without a fight from you. And this time, I will fight too."